Summer 1986. The sky gets dark as a thunderstorm approaches. But soon the rain-scented winds died down to a whisper, and the dark gray turned pale yellow. Completely mind-blown, I asked my mother what was going on. She turned to me with a worried look, only able to utter a single word. Tornado. Hello and welcome back to Lean on Success, where process improvement is self-improvement. My name is Ben. I'm a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt, and today we are continuing our series on the 2023 recession. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. I can recall a few other times in my life when I saw the sky go yellow like that. And I can confirm that each time that happened, the local news station confirmed that a tornado was in the area. Fortunately, none of those tornadoes ever hit near my home, but what stuck with me is how a yellow sky was a reliable sign that a tornado was about to hit nearby. These types of signals that predict something is about to happen are called leading indicators. Now, obviously, if you can see a yellow sky before the tornado touches down, it gives you time to protect yourself from danger. In our last video, we talked about how the government's definition of recession is problematic because it's subjective and based upon numbers that can be misleading. But using our tornado example, there's another reason why the definition is problematic. Let's take another look at the definition of recession. Notice that none of these metrics are signaling that a recession is coming. They merely confirm that recession has already begun. That means they are not leading indicators. They are lagging indicators. Here's an example of a lagging economic indicator: unemployment. You will often hear pundits say that upticks in unemployment is a sign that the economy is worsening. The reality is that unemployment doesn't typically begin spiking until after the recession period has already begun and doesn't reach its peak until after the recession is over. So if the government's stated metrics for recession aren't good predictors, then how can we know whether recession is truly coming? Well, ironically, one of the best leading indicators for a recession is actually a government-owned entity called treasury bonds. Treasury bonds are loans that people and corporations make to the government. When you buy a bond, the money you pay is lent to the government over a specified period of time, and the government promises to pay you back with a guaranteed return or interest over that time period. Now, typically with loans, the riskier the loan, the higher the return or interest rate. One of the ways to measure risk is the term of the loan. If you're borrowing money over a longer period of time, it's considered a riskier loan because the lender has to wait longer to get paid back, which increases the likelihood of a default or you not paying the loan. As you can see here, rates for 15-year mortgages are always lower than 30-year mortgages. The longer the term, the greater the risk, the higher the interest rate. So back to treasury bonds. The government has specified lengths of time called maturity rates for treasury bonds. The shortest is 3 months, going all the way up to 30 years. This means that when you buy a 3-month bond, you have to wait the full 3 months before you get your money back with interest. Let's compare the average bond return rates in 2017 versus 2022. In the 2017 chart, you can see that the rates generally go up as you move from a shorter 3-month term to a longer 10-year term. This is known as a normal bond market. Now let's look at 2022. As you can see, the interest rates actually get lower as you move from short term to long term. This is known as an inverted bond market. So if the bond rate is an indication of risk and rates are much higher for short-term investments, that means the government believes that the current economic conditions are much more volatile than they will be in the future, which is why they are paying more for short-term investments. But how does that prove that a recession is coming? Let's take a look at one more piece of data. This is a chart that takes the 10-year bond rate and subtracts it from the 3-month bond rate over the same time period. When the blue line goes below zero, That means the bond market is inverted. Notice that every time the bond market inverts, it is soon followed by a period of recession, which are marked by the gray columns. And as you can see on the right of the graph, we have been in an inverted bond market for over a year. Based on all this data, I predict that we will begin to see a normalization of the bond market that will coincide with a spike in unemployment as early as the summer of 2023. Now, I've laid out a strong case for why I believe recession is coming, but in our next video, I will lay out my case for why I believe recession is already here. Did you find any of this interesting? Did I completely bore you to death? Did I get something horribly wrong? Let me know down in the comments and share this video with your friends. Until next time.